Hi everyone, this video covers my pool plan for DFFOO global version of the game in early June 2021, and specifically this will be covering the events and banners where Golbez will be featured as a synergy character, and the infographic on the left hand side, which was derived from Jakematt's global version forecast of the game, shows that there are 3 events coming up with Golbez. First is the Divine Alexander event, next is 9's Lost Chapter, and the third is Kadaj's Release. And as always, before heading into the video, some quick disclaimers that this is really my personalized pool plan. It may or may not be ideal for anyone else. I'm a strong believer that there's always many factors that should be considered when deciding to pool, and this can include your current resources in gems and tickets, who do you currently have built up in your current roster, and what sort of roles do you really need to complement your current roster, what content you actually need to clear, and of course whether or not the units are your favorite characters. Personally, for myself, I had a very heavy arc during Garland's event, which was just recently completed, and I actually had to spend quite a lot of resources there to get the weapons that I wanted. For example, I had to PT Garland's LD, and I had to spend around 10 multi-pools and 400 tickets just to get Ferris's LD. So I took quite a big hit, and I'm hoping to see whether I can try to conserve resources in some of the upcoming banners so that I can actually continue pulling for Bartz, which is coming after Golbez, and Bartz is really very heavily anticipated by myself and many other people. Alright, so coming to the first event, which is Divine Alexander event, and as always there's going to be 2 banners here featuring 6 synergy characters, and the synergy characters are shown on the right hand side. So on the first banner we have Golbez, Shadow and Laguna, and the second banner will feature the rerun of Hope's LD along with Vivi and Tancred. So I'll start off with the bottom banner of Hope first, because for me it is very straightforward. I will skip that banner, and the main reason for that is I already have Hope's LD and hopefully MLB at 3-3. Really, I think Hope is very underrated as a character. He is actually quite solid because he provides quite a lot of utility in one character. So he can cut Brave damage by 50%, which is quite a lot, through his Hope and Shell. He can heal his party through his EX and LD. In fact, his LD also overheals. He can extend buffs to your party members, and he's the only character who can inflict D Shell currently in the game, which can come in quite useful as well. The only thing I feel that he is missing is the valuable HP damage up that some of the more recent support characters have, such as Sarah or Paladin Cecil. But otherwise, if you are a fairly new player, and you really need or want a very strong support character, Hope will actually fill your needs quite well. So coming to the top banner featuring the newly released Golbez LD, my plan there is to use tickets to score his LD before moving on to the next event. And I always do this for every new arc, where I will try to get at least the synergy character's LD weapon, because that character is going to be synergy for the next few events. So to me, that's a lot of return to investment, because I can use that character in at least, or in this case I can use Golbez in at least 3 Chaos Challenge quests. Whether or not I get his burst weapon, of course it's up to RNG, but if I don't get his burst weapon before I score his LD, I'll just call it a day and move on to the next event. The next event after that will be 9's Lost Chapters, and to me this is really a very value worthy banner, and that's because I actually am missing quite a lot of weapons on this banner. So this banner actually also features the release of Fujin's LD for the first time in the global version of the game. And for me in particular, I actually skipped 9 the first time around. So I don't have 9's 15 CP fully MLB, 35 CP as well. And I also don't have any copies of 9's EX or LD. And of course, if I happen to get Fujin's LD, it's going to be a big plus. Even the third character on this banner, which is Barrett, I don't even have Barrett's EX fully MLB. So if I get any copies of Barrett's EX here, they are actually going to save me Power Stones for Barrett. So really, there's many weapons that I could use from this banner. And it is very likely that at this point, I probably will still not have Golbez's burst weapon as well. So for that reason, my plan is to use gems on this banner. And the weapon that I will be aiming for is for 9's EX and LD. The reason for that is that as a Lost Chapter unit, 9 is actually going to be synergy across 2 events, so which is in his Lost Chapter as well as the upcoming event with Kadaj as well. So being able to use 9 as synergy units across 2 Chaos Challenge quests, I think is quite useful. So for that reason, he will be the price that I will be aiming for here. I'm not wanting to discount Fujin. I actually think Fujin has quite a lot of utility. But the reason why I'm not aiming for Fujin as a price is mainly because Bartz is coming out next. And I personally think that Bartz overshadow Fujin as a Wind Enchanter and Imperial character. So only for that reason, I will be stopping the moment I hit 9's EX and LD. Regardless of whether I get any of the other weapons on the banner. So whether I get Golbez's burst weapon or Fujin's LD or Barrett's EX, if I get any of them on the way to 9's EX and LD, it's a great bonus. But if I don't get them, then again I'm calling it a day and going on to the next event. So the third event on this arc will be the release of Kadaj from Final Fantasy VII in the global version of the game. And really he is actually quite a decent character, and he is going to be the first character that will introduce the concept of gold framed debuffs, which is actually quite interesting in my opinion. But unfortunately for me, I think I will be giving this banner a hard pass. And really, I don't want it to reflect that Kadaj is a bad unit or anything. In fact, there are no such thing as bad LDs or units at this point of the game. All of them are actually Lufenia viable. But as I said at the beginning of this video, I am hurting quite a lot in terms of resources coming from my relatively bad luck in Garland's arc previously. And I'm hoping to actually use this banner as sort of like my rest banner, where I can hopefully recoup some resources that I can spend in Bart's event coming up after this. So as much as it pains me to say this, but I think I'll be giving Kadaj a skip. The good thing though is that if following my plan on the previous 2 events, I should be able to use Golbez and 9 as synergy characters in Kadaj's event. So at least I have 2 synergy characters built up for Kadaj's event, or I should say for Kadaj's Chaos Challenge quest. So the Chaos Challenge quest itself should be quite doable. So that's it for this event. So long story short, I will be planning to spend tickets for Golbez's LD. I plan to skip Hope. I will be using gems, primarily aiming for 9's LD and EX. And unfortunately, I think I will have to give Kadaj a hard pass. In terms of MLB priorities, so this is what I would recommend depending on your ingots and power stone levels. So for example, if you only have enough ingots and power stones to fully max out one character, what I would recommend is the number 1 on this list. And if you can do more than one character, then I would recommend to look at number 2, number 3, and so on and so forth. And many people may not agree with this. Again, this is just really my opinion, but I'm heavily influenced by having synergy units across several events and characters that I think will be used more frequently than others. So for this reason, I rate Golbez at the top because he is going to be synergy units across all 3 events here, and he is going to get his burst weapon as well, which makes him usable in events such as Dimensions End Transcendence or Boss Rush events, where you really want to have burst characters to get a synergy boost. Beyond Golbez, if you are looking to fully invest in more characters, I actually think Hope is a very good pickup. Again, I'm only skipping Hope here because I already have him built up. But if you feel that your current roster really lacks a support character, Hope is actually quite a good pickup, especially if you missed characters such as Paladin, Cecile, or Sarah. Now, if you already have enough support characters in your roster, and you feel that Paladin and Cecile or Sarah or Baltier would fulfill your support needs quite well already, then 9 is actually quite a good unit to pick up. He does bring a lot of utility in addition to him being quite a decent DPS character, especially in fights where there are 3 targets as well. Fujin and Kadaj, I rate them last. Again, not because they are weak or anything like that. It's because I actually feel that for me at least, there are already other characters who can also fulfill their roles. Fujin in particular, I think would be overshadowed as a primarily Wind Enchanter and Impaler once Bartz gets his rework and LD BT next. So for that reason, for me, I don't think I'll be using Fujin much once Bartz is released. So I rate, just for that reason alone, I rate her lower. Kadaj, again to me, I don't really see a need for Kadaj. Again, I'm not a JP player, so this is really purely from what I can read on his kit. So I haven't really play tested him, but really I don't plan on using Kadaj in many events for myself. So for that reason, I'll put him as number 5 here. So that's it for this video. I hope that it's been somewhat informative. And if you enjoy the content, as always, do hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.